He also went out, and the media coverage was unprecedented. Every news organization, certainly in this area and most nationally, covered stories, all of which have been admitted into evidence. And he did it with many different organizations. Not only local organizations, but he did them from CNN, Good Morning America, O'Reilly Factor. The reasons that he gave for the justification for this statements about trying to convince people to come forward have, as the chair pointed out yesterday, there is no legitimate reason for him to be on national news to try to convince boys here locally to come forward and provide information. And in that 35 days, he goes on an unprecedented media barrage. There's essentially a 25% swing in the polls, and he wins the primary. Now, State Bar doesn't have that burden to prove that Mr. Nifong, in fact, went out and made those statements for that reason. But it is evidence you can consider with respect to his intent in making those statements. The second set of issues in this case have to do with the DNA and the disclosure. And the evidence in support of those allegations with respect to a violation of the discovery rules has been clear, cogent, and convincing. We've had numerous witnesses come up and testify. The information was there. It clearly was not provided. It clearly was required to be provided. Mr. Nifong found out as early as April 10th that he had unidentified male DNA on the rape kit that had to be disclosed. And Mr. Anglum and Ms. Goodenow both testified as experienced career prosecutors that as soon as they got that information, that had to be turned over, regardless of whether a report was written later. This is exculpatory information, and it needed to be disclosed. It's a report from Dr. Meehan disclosing the existence of test results which are exculpatory, or certainly potentially exculpatory. Mr. Nifong never provided a complete report of the results to the defendants, ever. He provided information in October, but never provided a complete report of the results. He never provided any memorializations of those meetings with Dr. Meehan, even though the results were not contained in the report. He initially has asserted in the answer that the underlying data was sufficient and therefore no violation occurred. And we had a hearing here on a motion to dismiss on that very issue. No violation occurred because the underlying data was provided. It was not provided timely, and that's not a report.